your girl Chris. How you doing? Blue Nola in the building to do another reading. We're gonna focus today on T.I. and Tiny being sued for sexual assault, battery on a woman in an LA hotel. When I read this, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna read it to y'all. I was like, this sounds so crazy, but we're gonna see if there is any truth to it, right? Remember we did the reading on Dwight Howard and Miss Kitty, and those stories just seemed so crazy and far-fetched, but it was in fact true that he knew her and they had a relationship, and he met this man online. So we don't want to, we don't want to take anything off the table. However, we do know that, and I have at least 3 readings on the channel regarding their other legal situations regarding the same type of allegations. They didn't materialize, right? Didn't come to fruition in terms of all the people. It seemed like 10 people plus that had allegations, and none of this stuff panned out. So is this the same situation? Will there be any truth to this? Is there any truth to this? Is this just all smoke and mirrors? The person is anonymous, by the way, I guess to protect their identity. But let's go ahead and look into it. So, the other day, and this is from Hollywood Unlocked, it says, once again, T.I. and Tiny find themselves embroiled in a lawsuit. This time a woman is accusing them of sexual assault and battery. Now I'm kind of modifying the words, right? Because of YouTube. The lawsuit filed by a woman identified as Jane Doe, remember I said she's going to stay anonymous, claims that she was drugged by the couple in 2005. All right, after meeting them at a nightclub in Los Angeles. According to the document obtained by TMZ TV, the plaintiff, who was saying that she was in the Air Force at the time, details how she allegedly attended a party by the late rapper Coolio's home when she met a man named Caviar. Allegedly, Caviar worked for T.I. and Tiny and promised the woman that she would have a chance to meet the couple at an LA nightclub the following night. At the nightclub, the woman alleges that Tiny handed her a drink, which she shared with a friend. The lawsuit claims that the woman soon found herself in an SUV with T.I., Tiny, and another unknown woman after heading to the hotel room. Once in the hotel room, T.I. reportedly kicked the two women out, leaving only the plaintiff T.I. and herself. The woman alleges that Tiny then took her into the bathroom where they undressed, and T.I. joined the consensual encounter, which quickly turned into him putting his toe allegedly into her vagina. That's the part that took me out, because I was just sitting here thinking, like, all of my years and all of my life, I know people got foot fetishes, but I can't even say, because that's how much it took me out. I can barely pronounce it. But foot fetishes, that part took me out. So, give me a 1 in the chat if you believe the story, there's any validity to this story, and give me a 2 if you feel like this is a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors. Again, we don't want to focus on 2005. We always talk about why they wait so long. That's that person's prerogative, right? We don't want to focus on that. But we want to focus on the action. The thing is that, you went out your way to meet these people. Immediately, and when you went to the club, they gave you a drink, and then it turned into something else. So let's go ahead and get into the energy. Spirit, does T.I. and Tiny know this woman from the military? She said she was in the what? I believe she said that she was in the U.S. Air Force at the time. Do they know this woman that is accusing them of the situation? Do they know this woman? The 2 of Cups is here in reverse, along with the 3 of Wands, along with the Ace of Wands, along with the 5 of Pentacles, with the King of Pentacles, and the 2 of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, along with the Knight of Cups. I do feel like they don't know her in the way I'm saying it, right? We're not friends. We don't know her like that. But I do feel like they had an encounter with her. This is what it shows in their messages. So when I say I don't feel like they don't know her like that, right? I don't know you, you don't know me like that. The two of cups is in reverse. Like, we don't know you like that, right? I do feel like she had an encounter with them in her Three of Wands, Ace of Wands energy. That could be an encounter of some kind. I don't think they can deny that they don't know this lady at all. I don't think they could deny that. But she shows up almost like going into a situation of her own free will, right? And what's crazy is that she's saying she was drugged, but she's, you know, if you're drugged, you're remembering a whole lot, or you're, you know, for somebody who's drugged. And in a lot of her cards, almost like saying, I don't know what her memories are recollecting, but it feels like a lot of her is not clear. Anyway, the Three of Wands represents her. Ace of Wands and Three of Wands represents her knowing these people or connecting with these people, and that she did, you know, meet them. And the Ace of Wands aspect could be like a little connection energy, where they could have had like a little hookup or something like that. This was, and like at the bottom they say this is consensual. These are all consensual aspects here, right? This, in my opinion, I'm gonna be honest with you, this looks like a money grab. This looks like a shakedown. The Five of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles is somebody who's after for somebody for some money, right? Taking a truth and adding a little bit of a lie. We talked about this on Instagram yesterday. That Two of Swords represents her story is a surprise to them. Like, what the hell is she talking about, right? Even in her Ace of Pentacles energy. And this talks about somebody who's trying to collect an opportunity. Even his Knight of Cups, T.I. is not trying to pay this lady at all, period. He's like, sue me, take me to court, drag me through the mud. It's done. I'm over with. You're going to have to do what you need to do. You know, what his country is. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the country, I'm from Louisiana, baby. But T.I. is not having none of this. He feel like this is injustice. He feel like this is manipulation at its finest. We have to normalize going to situations where we protect ourselves, where we don't drink from other people, where we don't go with other people. We have to normalize those situations. We have to also own our own selves. That's why I was telling y'all on Instagram, I got to the point to where when I was clubbing in my clubbing days, baby, I would bring my own cash. I wouldn't accept drinks from other people because stuff like that happens for real, for real. But this lady is looking like she's trying to have a money grab situation. That Five of Pentacles is somebody who's looking for some money, right? Her resources are low. She's trying to create a story. And also she has some messages here that shows up like her story's going to fall apart as they go through this process. If I were T.I. and Tiny, she would have to take me to court. You already put it out there. And the only reason why, we already know the reason why it got put out there is because they refused to pay you. So now you're exposing it, right? So if I were T.I. and Tiny, I would make her go through the process of someone bringing me to court. So let's see where this goes, right? I would make it, and then I would hold her accountable for my thing. I definitely feel that they know her, but also too on the other side of that coin, T.I. and Tiny, they need to be careful about who they bringing into the environment as well, right? Because you're bringing people into your life, and you know, these people are not signing NDAs and saying that these things are consensual, and next thing you know is a problem. Again, it's coming up with that Seven of Swords energy. And this is somebody who's doing a deceptive tactic, right? Somebody who's doing something underhanded. That's like somebody, saw other people saying similar stories and then just took that story to fit their narrative, basically, right? This is what it talks about. And then she has the Empress in reverse as well. And the Empress in reverse could represent, this could very well fall apart for the lady who's saying this. This could very well fall apart for the lady to say this. Because if you don't have no memory, because you were completely drugged, how do you remember all of this, right? How do you remember all of this? And then you even said it was consensual at one point. You have the Seven of Cups as well, and that Seven of Cups actually represents another loss. So this lady has a card of doing something deceptive and manipulative, and then she has two messages of loss. It's going to be really hard for her to prove that something really happened with them like that. It's going to be really, really hard to prove that something happened with them. I'm going to be honest with you. It feels like she went there on her own free volition based on her messages here. It feels like she went with them on her own free will. I'm gonna tell you this, for anybody that's trying to sue T.I. regarding stuff like this or anything else, he's gonna fight you on it, right? This is what it shows in his messages, and especially in this era of they struggled with this a couple of years ago, but especially now that all these people are coming out the woodwork, people are they're not gonna do a ditty and make a quick settlement with you. I know people like to stay anonymous, but I really feel like when you accuse somebody of doing something, you should put your name on it. Because, you dragging somebody through the mud over something that could or could not be true and damaging their reputation, and then you're protected. I understand protecting people, but I honestly feel like you should be able to at least, put your name on something like that. Again, it shows that there's some connection between them. I don't think, again, this is not set in stone, but this definitely shows. I don't feel that they can say that they didn't know this woman, never met this woman, they don't know who the hell this woman is. I don't believe they could say that. The only thing they could say, especially with her lover's card in reverse with T.I., the only thing they could say is it was completely consensual. We met each other. We reviving. We kicked it. This lover's card in a positive position. This represents it was a choice. This represents it was a choice to make the connection. Also, too, I just gotta be, like we as people, if we start like some people are freaky deaky now, and then they start doing little freaky stuff. If that's something, we talked about this with another reading. Like if there's something that you're not comfortable with, we gotta be like, no, I'm not comfortable with certain things, right? Was she uncomfortable at any point? Because she definitely has a lot of consensual, like she planned for it. Like just imagine she talked to a guy and planned to go out her way to meet these people, and then went there and engaged them, took a drink, and then she's claiming. So it's almost like she put herself not into being violated, but she put herself in their line of fire, right? Give me the energy around, and I'm not like victim shaming. I'm always trying to think through a scenario. That's all I'm trying to do, right? Give me the energy around this lady. At some point, did she get uncomfortable with the interaction? The Knight of Cups, the Page of Cups, the Chariot. So when you look at the Knight of Cups, you look at these three together, you can honestly say, right, these are some deceptive cards here. And these are just some deceptive cards. It's almost like, again, this is why celebrities need to be careful about the people that they're bringing into their environments. The Page of Cups is a deceptive aspect, right? Somebody's being deceptive. Even in the Knight of Cups, that could be somebody who's being deceptive, untrustworthy. Even in that Chariot, that could represent, again, they're like they were trying to get something from these people and it fell apart, and now she's going forward with this, right? The Moon card is another deceptive card. It's deception. The Moon card also represents somebody's not telling. This represents false story, right? Something false with her story, guys. So I'm gonna leave it right here. Tell me what you guys think. Deception. Well, deception, and even your Chariot is falling apart. It's almost like saying that she's gonna run into trouble. That's what it talks about here. Was she uncomfortable at any point? Because she just has a lot of cards of being deceptive. Was she uncomfortable? Did she feel afraid? Did she feel scared? Did she feel, what did she feel? Just a strength card, right? She was cool as hell. Like the strength card is like, I'm good. Like, okay. Like that's what that represents. Even in her Six of Swords, the Six of Swords could be, and also too, you got to watch people because people be having like emotional issues. But again, it represents somebody who's looking for like some little quick payout, right? I don't know, guys. A Tower moment happening, right? It almost makes you feel like she went into the situation. She kind of participated all in it. And it's kind of like that guy that went to, I guess, Tommy's thing. and then claimed that something was spiked, but he didn't have no proof and he didn't know who did it, and then he was blaming people. It's kind of like that, but she does show like she had a change around it. She does show like she had a change around it, but she was a full participant in this. A full participant. So sometimes people go into situations and start saying, you know, maybe I wasn't in agreement with this and that, but she shows fully participating. Like I said, T.I. is gonna fight the situation. I'll be surprised for them to say they absolutely don't know this lady. I feel like they absolutely, you know, can say, I know the guy Caviar, and I did meet them. He introduced me to them. I can say, I can see them. I can't see them just denying that part, but I can see where it's like she was going with stuff, and she participated in it. And you know, we just have to be careful. This is why it's best not to get into sexual activity with people that you don't know well, because they may have certain expectations, certain appetites in their sexual conquest that you're not ready for. Did T.I. stick his toe in her coochie? See me the energy around T.I. Is he sticking his toes in people coochie? What's going on? The Fool card, the String card. Let's pull from the middle. The Nine of Pentacles, the King of Wands, the Lover's card. There's going to be conflict in that story, y'all. And I tell you, there's going to be conflict in that story. The story is going to, it sounds far-fetched to us. It's going to sound, the story is, you know, I mean, the Lover's card could be somebody who has a little kinky way about themselves, but it almost feels like that could fall apart too. I could see where they had, again, I could see where he could say, we were messing around, we did certain activities. I'm not going to take that off the table. The sexual connection, but there's a conflict around the conflict to me is going to be, we had fun, we were doing stuff, and like that's the conflict for me. So I'm gonna go with, there could have been some kinkiness going on, but I'm gonna err on the side of the fact, like, and this is also too with T.I. You know, when you're dealing with people, you need to be able to know that everybody is, you know, like comfortable and cool, you know, with the situation. It just shows she was going with the flow. You know, when you ask about the twist, maybe she was like that big dirty toe. I don't know, you know, but in this Lover's card here in reverse, there's going to be a conflict about how that. So, for example, I just mean conflict is going to be on how that played out. Not that it didn't happen, but how it played out. Okay, maybe she's saying toe, but maybe, you know, he put a foot, and then he, you know, did his toe and all that. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna say that it didn't happen. I'm gonna just say that how it's being laid out may not be the same story, right? The Eight of Pentacles is here. No, I'm man with the toe right there. Eight of Pentacles is basically telling a different version of how the encounter happened, which makes more sense, right? Right now, the story just sounds so crazy and far-fetched. I was just like, what is going on? To me, I feel like this is going to be hard for her to really say, like, something happened with them, for sure. I can see where they can both say it was consensual. We had fun with her. It's really going to be hard to kind of nail this down. And I would, if, you know, any case where anybody's accusing you of anything, I would tell anybody, don't settle with people. Fight it if it's not true. You know, fight it. Don't settle with people. Don't let them have the easy road out, especially when they went to somewhere consensual. I knew a situation, I'm about to get off of here, but I knew a situation that I was involved in, where a young lady was saying that she went with this guy, right? And they had drinks, and then they went back to his place and they had consensual sex. Well, while he was behind her, of course, whatever, and he was behind her. He at one point took his condom off, and basically she pretty much tried to sue him for that, right? And this is something I know firsthand, where she basically said, well, I agreed to the sex part. I went with him, I had drinks with him, I agreed to the sex part, but I never agreed to him taking that condom off. And I think she tried to sue him for that part. I think it fell apart. I believe it fell apart. But this is the kicker. Even after he did all this allegedly to her, right? Took the condom off. She was upset about it. She still took him to the airport the next day, and still stayed in communication. And it wasn't until they fell out that she decided to do this. So when the police got involved, the police was just giving her the side eye, because it's like, okay, you went with this guy, you had drinks with this guy, you had consensual sex with this guy, and you got, and then you say you got upset because he took the condom off, which is, he shouldn't be taking a condom off, 100%. But then you proceeded the next day to even pick him up. You went back to your place, then you went and picked him up and brought him to the airport to see him out. Then continued to have a conversation with this person. And so I think a lot of her story was kind of looking like a person that got upset about something. To me, this lady is almost like looking for a payout, right? The one that with T.I. and Tiny. I mean, it just looks like this lady is looking for a payout. Don't take drinks from people that have been sitting. I don't care what environment it is, but we'll see how this plays out. It's not set in stone, and things can change. But right now, this is looking a little bit like a person that went with these people and had a consensual situation and decided to have a change of heart around how it happened and how it looked. And this called on T.I. and Tiny too, because it's like, again, stop putting strangers in your bedroom. It's cool to be in that kinky lifestyle and bringing people in and having fun, but you don't know everybody. And just because somebody in the military or a lawyer or a doctor or whatever don't make them a good person, because they got a lot of people with mental health in all different places. So thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. We'll see where this goes. I'm releasing this tonight. And this just, I don't feel, again, I would be surprised for them to say they don't know this lady at all. But I definitely feel like their version of it and her version of it is going to be totally different. And there's a lot of consensual going on with this lady until, it just almost, but even when you look at that food card and some of these other cards, you can say, well, maybe, she didn't want to be as kinky or get it down kinky. But this is why you don't go with strangers, right? She never said they forced her in a car. She never, like, to me, like, when you read this, I don't see where they forced her in a car and forced her in her home and forced her in the bed. Even when she says once in the hotel room, Tiny kicked these people out. The woman that just Tiny took her into the bathroom. So did she push you in there, or did you walk with her? And where they undressed. She didn't say where Tiny undressed her. They say where they undressed. You got to watch what's being said. So something's going on with the situation. So anyway, take care, stay blessed. Not trying to victim shame or victim bash at all. There's always an air of truth to something. But I definitely feel there's some truth mixed with a lie. That's just like me saying, for example, I went to a wedding Saturday for my niece, right? And I had, my sister was there, my other nieces were there. We danced to this song. It started at 4 o'clock, but I got married. I didn't get married. My niece got married, right? I'm just saying, I mixed a bunch of the truth with some small change. My niece was the one who got married. I didn't actually get married. I'm just saying, I'm using that as half truths. Okay? Peace and blessings. Take care. Stay blessed. Like, comment, subscribe, share if you care. And don't forget, you can book your appointment with me at BlueNolaTarot.com, BlueNolaTarot.com. We'll see how this all plays out. I wouldn't be surprised if we, see the story. I can see the story kind of developing and then eventually starts to go in a different direction. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye. And I don't see him going to jail for none of this or none of that. I see him fighting this down to the end, to the bitter damn end. Period. All right. Out. Bye.